What's up, guys? Welcome to TCG Scrubs podcast. I believe this is 111. And yeah, we're trucking on along. Again, doing the bi-weekly thing. Once every 2 weeks, we'll do the podcast just because things are still kind of slow, even though like a lot of spoilers for coming out. Like Ghost in the Shell came out, which we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff today. If you guys want to help support the channel and everything that we do here, please visit patreon.com/TCG Scrubs, where we kind of do some extra content and posts and different things like that. But overall, just to help support the channel. Also to Happy Little Hug Factory, you'll find a link in the description below. When you follow that link and make a purchase to help support the channel, they know that we sent you over. And through that link, you can do things like pre-order the next set, which is AO3. You can buy maybe Ghost in the Shell, it's still in stock, and some singles once the singles are posted. But I think that's about it. Oh, also, there's another link. It's for our LGS mothership, and if you're looking for some board games or something like that and you can't get a hold of them and you want to help support LGS, you can always help support ours. And of course, if you can help support yours through online orders, you can do that as well. Just an option. And you get free shipping for orders over $50 when you use our link. So there's a little bit of everything kind of going on recently, and we kind of made a list of just random games we're going to talk about. And I don't know what order you guys want to go in here. Or Colin, you want to jump in first with one of these?
Well, we're obviously we'll open up with Ghost in the Shell, which recently came out. We did, if you missed it, we did a quadruple box opening as well as opening the 2-star decks. Thanks to Happy the Hug Factory for that. If you guys want to go check that out, not the best camera quality and all that, but we tried our best. So I sort of get our overall thoughts, especially Joey, who wasn't there. We will be having a pre-release type of video coming out later this week, where we all have 6 unopened packs from Ghost in the Shell. I'm trying to figure out where I put mine. Just in the box up there, I think. Oh, now I gotta pull mine out.
That's what all of mine. I'm actually.
Oops! I pulled my secret rare by accident. Let me put that back. Here's my 6 packs.
Pretty excited.
That's 5. That's 5 packs. My 6 pack is somewhere
Colin,
here.
are you cheating? Is he cheating?
No.
6 pack is somewhere. I gotta figure out where I put it. But anyways. So we'll have video of us opening, creating decks, and then battling each other for that. So that'll be pretty fun as well.
The purpose of it was like a pre-release, but I get that the whole set's nothing but void cards, so this takes away from the whole like what are you gonna put in the deck and all that. But it's kind of a practice run for us too for when AO3 comes out, and we want to do the same thing that we're doing this time. Maybe we can include some more people in on it. It'd be a lot more fun. Like maybe minimum of 6 people, so we can do like a cool video series on it. But yeah, that's something we're gonna be doing soon.
Yeah, so figured. Well, let's start with Joey. So, what are your overall thoughts on Ghost in the Shell since you weren't there at the box opening, but you're aware of the cards and all that stuff? So.
I would say I'm like half aware of the cards because I'll be honest, I was like, I've pretty much seen the spoilers, and then I've been like, and then I didn't look at any of the full like list of cards. So.
Yeah, I feel like he's only seen what we've showed him or what's been shown publicly on like the spoilers that came out.
Yeah. I will talk about the whole Tron lands coming out, and those are something that I think are really interesting. Some people are overreacting, some people are underreacting. I think it's pretty interesting. It's an interesting idea. My first thoughts were like, it's kind of unoriginal and a little boring. Like I was like, oh no, like Tron lands, and then
do you want
then I was kind of like,
explain what those are for anybody who may not know and where the name's coming from as well.
Okay, so in Magic the Gathering, you have three land cards. One is called Urza's Mine. Urza's oh gosh, I'm gonna butcher it. It's like a mine, a scrapyard, and a tower, I think. Urza's Tower. Anyways, so when you have all 3 of them on the field at the same time, they can tap for more mana. So like one will tap for 1 mana by itself, but if you have all 3 of them, one will tap for 2, one will tap for 3, and one will tap for 2. So you get 7 total mana worth of land out of just 3 lands. Mm-hmm. And so what Forest Will has done is they've pretty much done the same thing. There are 3 stones And when you have all three of them out on the field together, they'll tap for 7 mana total. And yeah, so they'll tap for 4 void mana. It's based off of and the reason they're called Tron lands is because you use those to cast Tron, who's like a super powerful planeswalker card. I think anyways, yeah. So obviously it's a lot less strong in Force Rule, especially right now, because Tron has gotten like a lot of support with you can grab lands from your deck, you can start your hand with 2 or 3 lands, where in Force Rule it's kind of random. So there's a lot of like debate. There's been a lot of debate and stuff on Facebook that I've been kind of following and looking at, and I find pretty interesting. Obviously, I didn't look at the full set release, so Oscar and Colin can tell me if there's anything that supports that makes the land stronger or less strong, or about where people thought they were going to be at. That's basically it. So it's 3 lands or 3 stones that will tap. That will rest themselves for 7 will, and it's all void will, so you can't really use it in any other deck except for void colors. So either this deck or Wander, and yeah, shall I keep going? I feel like I'm like rambling, so I'm trying not to like take up another 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Like a lot of people were obviously concerned because in Magic, these lands are pretty impactful. Like Tron kind of makes a resurgent every few sets, because it's like, oh, I can play this thing with Tron, now I can play this thing, and it's kind of constantly like evolving, and a lot of people really don't like playing versus it, because I mean, you're just ramping up land. Like this is the fastest land ramp that you don't even have to play anything, you don't have to do anything, and as soon as your 3rd stone hits, you're at 7 mana. So it's like, how the heck do you beat something that I drop for 7 mana on turn 3, So yeah, obviously I don't think it's too much of a threat in Forceful right now, because it's unreliable. Because like with your stones, you might hit that on turn 6 or 7. You might get like 4 lands in a row that don't mix up, and so you're just kind of playing the game regularly. But yeah, and obviously it only produces void mana, so I don't know, just a lot of different stuff to think about. I know people have been brewing and stuff on it, so
yeah,
we'll see how strong it is.
Not mana, but yeah, nothing really came out to help support them any further. They're just there.
Like you can't fetch the particular stones, right? Like I know Killing Stone, they printed the 2-cost Fox that put a Killing Stone on the top of your deck, or it drew you a Killing Stone. I think it
put it on the top of the deck.
Yeah, but like you could actually search for for Killing Stones and stuff. So that's why Fox was a little better, because you could fetch them out.
Yeah.
This Ghost in the Shell set, and in general you can't fetch any stones from your stone deck. So
yeah,
it's just kind of luck and chance.
There's nothing that is, I think, finding it in New Frontiers at least, that we're just gonna put on there, and if anything comes out, it would be a general support card for whatever they're making in the future that would help search for a certain stone. I don't even know if they do it, but nothing else in the set actually supports it. I was like you. I saw the spoilers and a few key cards people posted. I never actually looked at the full spoilers or full list of cards, and I discovered after opening all the packs, there's a lot of vanillas in there. And then I started sorting it all out, and I was like, okay, here's all my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 costs, right? I'd go cost by cost, like, okay, where are the good cards at? Where are the good cards at? Where are the good cards at? It's really all in the SRs. The SRs and Rs are pretty much the key cards. Like the normals, it's like you might find use for them if you're going to build a deck that's dedicated to the new starter ruler. What's his name? Colin?
Oh, are you talking from the start? Or I guess that is the only ruler, isn't it? Aramaki?
Yeah. So I guess if you're building an Aramaki deck, then like there's some cards that are going to be useful in there. But I just feel like outside of that, it's mostly the rares and SRs that people are going to be looking at. And there's a couple that are, I think, more are better than others. Like one of the Motokos, where it's like you enter the fields, you dive and look at their hand, and then you play her, enter the field, and nobody. I forget how it goes, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's the one everybody was talking about the other day, where they know there's a continuous ability, but it's a continuous ability saying that nobody can play the card named. So
yeah,
that's pretty much.
No, there's a 1 or 2 cost void resonator that bounces or something like that. Something crazy that can just be thrown into any deck.
Well, there was a one cost quick cast that was void, that was bounce, right?
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah, something like
okay.
that.
Okay, well, I thought Colin said resonator, so. Sure. Anyways, but yeah.
I thought it was. It might not.
It's a chain.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, it's a chain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really like everything having like one cost bounce spell. I don't know. It seems pretty crazy. Like I feel like every deck would probably want it, or most so. Like I don't know, at least 60 to 70% of decks like would at least run a couple of them.
Yeah, I can't think of that many decks that wouldn't want it because it's a one-cost quick-cast bounce, so it works in aggro decks, it works in control decks, and maybe it's not as great in mid-range decks, I don't know, but like it seems like almost every deck type would want it.
There's definitely stuff that like you would have trouble playing it over other cards. Like I feel like a lot of lists, that people create are like pretty tight, so like Priscia might have trouble like cutting cards. Even though she would love this card, it's balance, it's tempo. You can sneak in blockers, or you can sneak in your attackers. I feel like people might have trouble like finding places to cut cards in favor of this card. So
well, I also seen like because I feel like a lot of bounce cards outside of what blue has is like targets like X cost or more, X cost or less, and this is just hitting whatever he wants to hit.
Yeah,
that doesn't have.
It's just. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't. It's weird to think about like how where you cut cards for like bounce, because like a lot of tempo decks want it, but aggro decks might not want it as much. They might not be able to find stuff to like cut.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah,
I do think we'll probably see it in play once tournaments start happening. We see some things happening like that, but I know that the first indication of what's going on will probably be like the OLS happening right now. They just had signups the other day, and I think Ghost in the Shell will be legal. So once we see, I guess, the results of that and all the lists kind of coming out, we'll see what people's thoughts were behind it. If anybody built using either Aramaki, or if anybody built just utilizing those void cards in their decks, be the first actual views of that.
Yeah, so going off of that, so I don't know if you've seen enough yet, Joey, but what would you guys say, or how would you guys rate it on like a card level, like the card design and power levels and different things like that? How would you rate the set?
I personally thought the dive mechanic looked pretty interesting. Like it fits flavorfully, and it's an interesting enough mechanic. I think all the cards that I saw were a lot of like 90% of the spoilers that I saw were like all dive cards, which is like okay, but I don't know. It seems interesting.
They thought it was good as well. Right. Put it on everything.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed in obviously the art. I feel like is lackluster. I think everybody has pretty much said something about that. I know there's debates and stuff about it.
So. On the artwork, real quick, I think that they could have still. I think they had to use obviously the show clips no matter what. But I feel like there could have been better options for what they picked from the shows that was made onto certain cards. Because I was trying to find there's several cards where it's like a dark scene, and
these are two completely different cards.
Yeah, see, and you can't easily identify. And I mentioned it in our box opening. Again, if you guys want to check that out, that went up a couple days ago. It kind of it had poor video quality because. I was using my webcam and I had issues making sure I was in focus and everything. But I mentioned in there, like I usually can see on the sides of cards when people are playing tournaments, like in a live stream when I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, they have whatever in hand only because I saw the edge of the card. You can't really do that with these. And that's nitpicking. Obviously, we're really nitpicking to find issues with it. But I just think that there could have been better scenes that were picked that could have been lighter. And brighter moments in the show, or even lightened up, like increase with blues.
Yeah. Well, and someone it was pointed out, like it's also funny because it's all like really dark, blacky images, which are like the hardest to print consistently on a printer for cards and stuff like that. Which I didn't even think of that, but you were gonna say something, Jay?
My thing about it is just I don't remember the days leading up to all of the spoilers and stuff, but I didn't know that we were only going to be getting the screenshots. So we got the first Motoko, and then we got like the second Motoko, and they were all like both pretty cool, you know. And then to go from like that to like, you know, just the screenshots was just a little disappointing. So I think that was my only, like,
the first couple were
with
from one of the artists who was the concept artist for the show. So I know I speculated that it was going to be more of their artwork than screenshots.
Yeah, so.
But the secrets in the box were more of that artist's artwork, which is actually shown when the show ends and the credits at the end. You see a lot of cool shots like that one right there.
Which this is a nice looking card. You can't probably tell, but her actual body in the Tachikama's body has a foil outline around it. That's just pure cool. Foil, which is cool. But yeah, I think the problem was like I was convinced of Oscar's thing as well. Like Oscar's like, oh yeah, because he was saying that that's a smart idea because he follows the guy and he's like, there's a bunch of concept work and promo art and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's a smart idea. You're go with them, but they're doing a CG show, so instead of using screenshots, you just use all the concept and promo art and stuff like that, and that should be enough for a small set like they were doing and all that. And the fact that they had the 2 promo cards that had that, and then the pre-orders went up for the set, which the box art had that, and the star deck kind of had that. On the box itself, so it was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what they're doing. And then it wasn't until after everyone was pre-ordering and buying the boxes and stuff like that that they're like, and they're all, you thought this was going to be it? It's actually all this. So if that eased into it, or if we had some indication that that's what it was going to be like way ahead of time, it would have been much easier to go in. But the fact that it was just like, I feel like the reason the community was so off put by it because it was just this like shunk like slap on the table of like, here's what it actually is overnight after everyone was getting hyped with the promos.
Yeah, Oscar, you definitely should not have speculated all that because I had started getting like
going off my hype on it. Yeah.
We're all just like riding Oscar's hype train.
You were reeling us in the whole time.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
But in the end, that's why I don't blame them for it. I blame myself for not liking it, and I don't voice my opinions in any of the like global groups or anything like that, saying that I expected this or anything like that because I knew is what I thought what would happen. But I
disagree.
I saw a lot of the artwork that he was creating, and a lot of it just could have been the artwork for the set. Like it was actual full-blown artwork that he was creating for it. So
well, I disagree with it not being their fault though. You just backed up yours with more evidence because you actually followed the artist, but like the impression, like I said, was based on the promos that it might be concept and promo artwork, and it wasn't until like I said, if there was some indication, but there's no indication from Force of Will to the contrary until way later. It'd be like, imagine if we got they teased Vingolf 2 with just the rulers with the actual hand drawn artwork, and you're like, oh, okay. And they waited till everyone bought and pre-ordered and stuff like that, and then they're like, kabam! Look at the CG blurry daffodil. But they showed us everything in chunks. They're like, here's the ruler and here's the regular cards. So you're like, okay, I got it. We saw the distorted daffodil. They showed us that ahead. We knew what we were getting into, and I still bought it day one for $50 or whatever the heck it was. Great purchase. But,
I just remember being able to buy all the boxes at like, was it $12 each just to get all the dual stones out.
Yeah. Back when that was like actually like not even just for funsies, but it's like, oh, I'm getting like $30 worth of stones by spending $15 on this. Oh yeah, give me. I have so many Vingolf. I might have thrown some of them away by now, but I used to have so many Vingolf 2 cards. You know, it's insane.
It's funny too because I speculated because like we got into Force Will relatively early. So I was like, oh man, dual stones, Magic printed dual stones in their first iteration. I was like, man, these are going to be worth a pretty penny, like 5 years, 6 years down the line. Like these will definitely like hold like value and then, it'll be just like Magic's like original beta dual lands and stuff. And it's like,
little did Joey know he missed that train a while ago with Valhalla set.
Yeah, Valhalla would be good stuff to buy. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. You can actually find those Vingolf 2 boxes for $14 on Amazon right now. It's not too bad.
Well, you can go on eBay, and there'll be people sellers selling them for that price as well. But if you message them and say you'll buy 2 or more of them, they'll
some
knock the
deals.
price down
Yeah.
instantly. Yeah,
So-
I've seen people do that.
Going back on it, yeah, the artwork. I want to also comment on the fact that some people thought that it was gonna be like, I guess, artwork from the Forcible artists, which it obviously wouldn't have been because of the way
No, yeah.
IPs work. We get that, and I just want other people to understand that too. That they weren't able to do that. They have to use what's allowed to from, I guess, the production company or whatever. But we also spiraled off on this because I wanted to comment on the artwork real quick. But we're really asking what Joey's opinion was, right, on the.
I was gonna
overall set.
build up to the artwork because I was starting at the base level.
I also
my
wanted to
thing was I pretty much don't, since I haven't seen the whole set, I just wanted to comment on the dive mechanic, which looked interesting, and the artwork, which was the only two, I don't know, things that I could think about. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I have more things to bring up, but
yeah. I'm
So-
like,
Go ahead,
like,
Oscar.
I was going to
Like,
give kind of my take on,
stuff.
on the set as well after having especially opened it and kind of looking at most of the cards. Is it looks like the dive mechanic within the set itself is only printed on rare and SR cards, so nothing below that actually has it printed. And then I haven't looked at the starter deck itself yet, outside of spoilers, which I probably don't even remember most of them. But when I look at a set when it first comes out, I usually look at a couple things. I go, one, what's a new cool ruler I could run, and how many are there? Which one do I like best out of the 3 or 2, whatever it is? Or what cards are supporting what I'm already running. And in this case, it was only like one ruler option, and everything is void, so it's almost like this splashable thing and can go into any deck depending if it's useful for me. I guess overall, I'd say right in the medium is what I'm seeing the whole set as, only because like some of the cards are really expensive. I think you really need to hit those Tron lands. It's funny as it is. I think it's funny not just that the name Tron stuck to it, but the name Tron lands stuck to the stones. And everybody in the global groups and other groups everywhere are referring to them as lands now, which throws me off kind of when I see it.
Which sucks because there's some cool crosswords. You could have called them like the instead of stones, like trones or something. I don't know. I feel like you could have made something cool.
That
like a cool
Magic just had
word.
those triomes come out, so that'd be a little confusing as well. Those 3-color lands.
Or do you think these are better, same, or these new lands, these new stones? Do you think they're better, same, or worse than shit bricks?
I think they're. I mean, if you compare it like that, I'd say worse. Only because like shit bricks were at least useful in many different kinds of decks. Like these void ones are only good in like 2 decks. One deck in New Frontier has been like maybe 2 or 3 decks in Wanderer, because I've seen some of the ideas that Mike Grants has been posting in Global, and it's been kind of funny seeing it. But
Or Epic Stories.
or Epic Stories, yeah. But even then, in Epic Stories, you're only using 1 of each, as opposed to the more than that. So you have to get creative how you're going to pull those stones out.
Is void an attribute, or is it a lack of attribute? Like, you can still run all void stuff in Epic Stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, because like there was
I don't know.
one of the cards I'm talking about, like, that will help you ramp into your stones was I forget what it was. It was like was it Shakespeare or something like that? It was a 3 cost. Put it in the field, and if you reveal a top stone, it's not one you already have in your in your play. You put it into play. So it's just kind of helping you, get there.
But so what? Moving on from that, so we talked about the art a bit. One thing that I'll say also about the art, I'd be genuinely curious though to find out how that process works. Is it Ghost in the Shell's Force was like, hey, we need 30 images, and Ghost in the Shell's like, all right, here's 30, have fun with that? Or does Forceful get to pick? Because there's
I
so
don't
many
think
night
Forceful
cards.
gets to pick. I think they're
There's
probably
so
picked
many
by the
night
show
cards.
itself, especially since it's before the show came out.
You don't think it's a pool of like, hey, we need 30 images, and so Ghost in the Shell sends them 60 to pick 30 out of, or anything like that?
Possibly. I think.
Well, that's what I'm curious about. So
I think it's mostly just here's some pre-selected ones, and I think that based on titles that they were given on some of these cards aren't exactly fitting to what's going on, and may look like it came from somebody who's unfamiliar with the show itself.
Well, and you had mentioned, because you've seen some of the show, that it looks like most artwork is from the first 4 episodes.
Within certain with the exception of certain characters, yeah. Like when you see Major in formal wear, I haven't seen that yet. The girl with the pink hair, I haven't seen her yet. And there's a couple other characters where it's just a character on a card where I haven't seen it. But a lot of the ones where like a lot of these dark scenes or was it the dog-looking robot. That's like a protector card, whatever. A lot of these were within the first, like 2-3 episodes.
Interesting. So what? Yeah, and one thing, in case you guys didn't know, that we found out from people opening boxes is that this set does not have any full arts, period, regardless of rarity. It just has holos. And the holos, I won't even show them the camera, but they look really nice in person. Like, it does this sort of like glinty outline along the border and different things like that. So it's kind of a cool holo. But one thing I realized is, like, because of the type of hollowing they did, as soon as you put in the sleeve, that hollowing is unrecognizable. You won't be able to tell that it's a hollow card, which is unfortunate because of how subtle it is. Huh?
Have you done it already?
No, I gotta see if I have a sleeve here. I don't think I have one.
He's like, I can already tell if I put this thing.
Oh yeah, no, you can tell because without putting a sleeve, when you lay it down flat, there's no way for me to show you guys. But me laying it down flat right here, there's literally nothing glinting off of it. Yeah. Even me holding at an angle, moving an angle, there's no glint until I actually face the light directly. This right here is the only angle I see any hollowing at all, and it's only along the edges. There is actually no hollowing really on the art itself. You can kind of see the glint there when I move it, how it's along the edges. But a matte sleeve, which is what I use for pretty much everything, would 100% knock that out based on my previous foiling experience, which is different for this one. This one you'll definitely be able to tell the hollowing on this one. But so there's no full arts or anything like that. But I'm curious why they didn't do full arts, because they have the design for a full art border. They already paid for this design to have it created. So why not take this art?
Because they can't. They can't do that. Like that. The scene card. Hold up the scene card. That scene is like a direct screenshot. So it's like this. And to sit there and stretch it, it's not going to work out in full art anymore. They were probably.
So you think the people who work on Ghost Show have never seen a card game before?
I mean, they probably didn't care to cater to creating a bunch of artwork for something that they just...
No, it's not about creating. It's about sending them images of scenes that are wider or medium shots. That way you can zoom in on the character.
They would have to create those scenes just to take the screenshot for them.
No. Colin's,
you're saying there's no wider or medium shots in a show?
Colin, but then you would like zoom in and you'd lose a ton of pixel quality.
No. If it's the company creating the screenshots, they have the raw data, which is a higher... especially CG, you can screenshot at any resolution you want to. So you can get a high resolution enough to zoom into.
They're not going to do that, though. They're going to get screenshots and provide it to the company and let the company do it from there.
I agree, Colin.
That's already digging too deep for them. Like, I don't know how involved you think they are in this process.
I'm not saying involved. I think Oscar's misunderstood. I think Joey understands what I'm saying. Of just give us a wide shot and let Force of Will do everything else of zooming in. All I'm saying is the screenshots you give us, just give us wide and medium shots. Don't give us any tight or shoulder shots. That's all I'm saying.
I still disagree because they might not even give you those that high quality enough. Enough
this shot. This shot's perfect. Zoom in on this, so it's the full card. You're done.
Colin, the whole point is like let's say I will not send you my high quality screenshot. I'll just send you a 1080p screenshot. You can't zoom in on that if you're Force of Will, if you get that. And if you try and request it, then that's something that I could just say, no, I don't want to give you our high quality screenshot. That's
you're thinking from a video standpoint, though. This is images, which is all about pixel density, not necessarily the pixel ratio. So as long as the pixel density is high enough when they take the screenshot, it doesn't matter because the card can only physically print a certain number to pixel density, which should be achievable. But it's all the same thing.
But what I'm talking about is that the company, the production company, is not going to send them their high quality stuff. Like you have complained to me that people won't send you high quality stuff so that you can't directly impact the image and stuff. It might be the same thing where they don't have access to these high quality renders at the production company. The production company is just giving them the bare medium that they need.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. I'm not talking about Force of Will and what they can or can't get. I'm just genuinely asking a question of like, why, if Ghost in the Shell provided them with 30 screenshots period in the story, why Ghost in the Shell is doing that essentially is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I think
it's super
that's
weird.
what happened. Is they provide the images, and it may have been like a what do you call it? A package you give to like news and magazines for images they can use. I feel like it was one of those.
Like, especially stuff like this, where it just sent us like the title screen.
Wait.
You know what? That might be even the sign that they only got X amount of cards rather than a pool. That the fact that they had to use that.
Yeah, well, no, that's why I'm trying to figure out like what the heck is going on there. But
I think that's what they were saying. They were saying like a marketing kit, and that's a marketing kit that any like magazine or news people would have received, and that's what they were saying when they did the crossover.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's
do you think
limited?
Do you think this is better, or would it have been better to do like almost like just one single starter deck and used all of the best art and images and stuff like that, and had that, or do you think it's better to have done the starter deck and booster box so we had a bigger pool of Ghost in the Shell cards to work from?
I would say starter deck, because there's a lot of like fluff cards within the set itself. I think a really well constructed like either dual starter deck, even that means involving another ruler, whatever. Like maybe a slightly expanded version of a starter deck would have been totally fine.
I can't really comment too much because I don't know the power level of these cards. Like, if it was like a starter deck, like how the good their previous good starter decks have been, where it's like, oh, we're all out of starter decks because they're just too good. Like it's like how Keurig was like, or Mikage. I don't remember. You like the good starter decks have is actually well constructed, that kind of deal. Like, I just don't know what the power level of these things are.
Yeah.
Of the actual starter deck is.
Yeah. So Colin, we gave kind of our takes on like where we saw like, I guess, level of like the set itself. What was your take on it? Like, you opened it up, you read all the cards. Where do you see it all?
As far as like the card, like you, I was a little bit disappointed with the amount of like fluff it felt like in there. But sorry, my dog is dying. It seems like there's some decent cards in here. But the only real value I see in the cards is how they work in other decks, because we'll see how I play with it later. I'm not too sold on like just the tribal Ghost in the Shell type of deck at this point in time, just because it feels very limited. There's only one ruler to choose from, and there's only one direction to go, which is the dive mechanic. And if you go that direction, there's only a certain number of cards that fall under the umbrella of that. So, but as far as that, and I'll have to play with it a bit to get a better idea of it. But I am a little disappointed in the amount of like fluff cards, since you already have like it's not like the regular Force of Will where the normal slot is taken up because you don't want to get new art and all that stuff. You have all the art access here, so this felt like a good set to go all out and make a bunch of new cards. Even if they aren't good, it's better than just having two different 3-cost void cards with no abilities, and one's 6/6 and the other is 6/7 or whatever it was. Well, like put a little bit of effort into card abilities or card stats, make something unique.
Are the cards like cool to play? Like, are there like Modicos that you're excited to play, or is it just like or is it like, oh, there's a
lot of cards that I'm
card that I don't know.
There's a lot of cards I'm super excited to play in my Epic Stories deck. There's a lot of cards in here that like perfectly would just go shunk right into my Epic Stories deck, but probably some that'll slot really well into my Machine Epic Stories deck as well. So on that end, I'm actually really excited for some of these cards because they'll just go and like, upgrade my Epic Stories.
Yeah, like are you excited to play like Modico, or are those like vanilla fluff pieces like just random characters that you don't really know about?
There's some, because there's like Motoko, the secret I pulled, obviously also in the set as well, because the wording of some like this one, like rest all resonators your opponent controls. I guess that's only a single opponent, but that's still useful. But there's the one that has the text on it that says all your opponents discard all cards, or some wording like that. All players, that's what it was. It is all players discard all cards, so that works in Epic Stories super well.
Especially in his
stuff like that. But, like, I'm a little bit less excited as far as, like, oh, man, I can't wait to play Bato and Kusanagi together, or stuff like that, because it's like, oh, it's just really, like, murky, dark cards with weird names and stuff. So, the Secret Rare, like, I just want to find a way to make this work in decks just because this card looks super cool. So there's that end of it, yeah. Speaking of which, also the last thing we mentioned was the which you guys alluded to was the translations themselves are super funky. Pretty much all if you guys don't know, that pretty much all the cards are just the name of who's on the card with some sort of describer after it, but the describer doesn't always make sense, and sometimes just my top 3 cards here, just by pure coincidence, we have Kusanagi Motoko boarding Tachikoma, which I pointed out, I don't know why this is a resonator, because it's an action of her boarding it. If it was Kusanagi boarded a Tachikoma or something like that, that makes sense, but I thought that was weird. Right after that, we have Kusanagi Motoko, the Major. And then after that, we have Kusanagi Motoko and Formal Wear. So it's like that for all the cards. And then you come across cards where it's like... I'm trying to find one. If you guys want to talk while I find it.
Yeah, I was just saying, if you notice, it's mostly just in titles or names and not in actual text of the cards. So it's, you know...
Yeah,
I thought it was just funny that there was just some funny names on some of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the.
Yeah, I
the
was
really funny ones.
That was funny.
Like if I.
Yeah, Cyborg
I feel
Army.
like if I had gotten, like because I'm not a huge Ghost in the Shell fan. I know Colin is a huge Ghost in the Shell fan, so I know like if I'd gotten my Fake Stay Night set and it was all like in CGI and it was like really crappy translations and not like a fun deck to play. And kind of like there's one mechanic introduced like only, I would be pretty disappointed. So I think that's kind of where I'm coming from, honestly.
Oh, there is another Tachikoma.
But yeah.
Oh, there is.
Yeah,
it's in
the
the starter deck. Oh yeah, I never looked at the starter deck.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm trying hard to be like detach myself from being like Ghost in the Shell and then seeing this. A couple of the cards to read out. This one's not too bad, but still awkward. Stan, a former Army infantry. Like, usually it'd be a former Army infantryman or something like that, but it's just an awkward word. You have Kusanagi Motoko in Relax, because she's relaxing, so she's in Relax.
Yeah,
obviously.
That's one of the ones I remember.
Ishikawa, the competent supporter. That, by definition, everyone in Section 9 is competent, so I don't know what that's in reference to, someone being incompetent. We have Bato, the Motoko's buddy. They obviously meant to put the Major's buddy, because Motoko is her name, Major is her rank. So that one's just straight up an error. Those are a couple I found off the bat real quick. That it's kind of funny, but then it's like, did they like... Because there's giant Yu-Gi-Oh paragraphs that are perfectly fine, so I'm super confused what happened with these titles. Is that a different department, or?
Well, yeah, I think it's a different source. Yeah, I think somebody's naming them internally, and like maybe the card text comes externally.
Yeah, I guess maybe the R&D doesn't actually name cards. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all force of will. Yeah. Any other thoughts, guys?
No, that's pretty much all I had. But
that went on for a little while.
I still look forward to doing the draft and just seeing how it plays. I want to play with the cards. I haven't played with them, and I haven't even speculated playing with them, like brainstorming how they can be incorporated.
Brainstorm.
Yeah, so I look forward to really, I guess, jumping into it and seeing, how useful a lot of them are. I know a lot of them, like I said, their vanillas are too expensive for their abilities, so it's really all ERs and SRs and only a handful of them, but.
Yeah, I feel like I have to play the set fully to actually, I've kind of given my, first thoughts on it, but I also played the set fully and see how they play to see if what my final thoughts are.
we'll give those opinions in 2 weeks,
Yep.
which should be near the release of AO3. So we'll have a lot of spoilers of that to look at, which have been starting to get crazy. Some of the ones we've been seeing looks like it's getting really interesting. Like, I won't go too into detail, but like I think there's a reflector frame card where it's like if you've done something, then you pay 1 blue less. If you've done something else, pay a red less. Or both. It's a free card essentially, but it's like a fourth thing to do.
Yeah, that's I saw people talking about that too. I was thinking that's kind of like the storm mechanic in Magic, except not really. But it's like copy a card and it gets another target or something. You can So it's pretty interesting to see whether or not you could draft like together an actual reflector frame storm deck, because that would be kind of insane. Like, especially with them being like, hey, let's print some Tron stones. I could definitely see them saying like, oh, we're gonna try and recreate Storm in Force of Will, and that'll be fun. And for people who don't really know, and I don't really know what Storm is all about either, but it's like you play like a card, you play like a low cost or free card, and it's like an instant, and I'm gonna totally butcher this, so I apologize. But you can like the card that like lets you draw something, or lets you like play another card, and then you continually play cards until you play, like, I think it's called Grape Shot, and what it does is it has a storm stack, and for every card that has resolved before that, you deal like 1 extra damage to your opponent. So basically you try and play 20 cards before you play your final Grape Shot, and then you Grape Shot them for like 20 damage. And that's what the idea behind Reflect Frame is, that you get this free card that copies another card, and you copy like the 500 damage spell or something. So you just copy it like 4 times or 8 times, and then you instantly kill them. And it's something like that to where it might work like that.
Interesting.
Anyways, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. So I guess we have some other things we're going to talk about. One of them, which is kind of disappointing, was Alternate Souls didn't make its Kickstarter funding. It made it to about 56% before reaching the last 24 hours.
I think it was just past 60% last I had seen.
I just remember looking at it at the 19-hour mark when Japan Made Games had already pulled out, and it was around 52 to 56%. Because somebody had asked me what it was at when I had mentioned they pulled out. Which, so Japan Made Games kind of split apart. They're going to go their own way since the Kickstarter really didn't, I guess, take off as well as they maybe anticipated. I'm not sure what happened on that end, but
it's interesting because... No, I was going to say, it's interesting because Japanime had said that they, regardless of whether the Kickstarter succeeds or not, they're going to make it. So I'm curious what happened on Japanime's end that they backed out afterwards.
Yeah, I can only speculate there's a threshold percentage of it not making it to Kickstarter pledge that they were going to pull out on or kind of go with it on. Sorry, I heard my dog. But it looks like Milo Studios is going to kind of regroup and then kind of reapproach it again at a later date, which would be interesting to see, especially maybe after there's some arguments saying that due to what's happening now with the whole pandemic thing, that a lot of people just can't afford to do this in spite of the fact that some people in the U.S. got stimulus checks and things like that, or some didn't.
A lot of people did.
Situations are, yeah. So I guess, waiting until later date is probably a better idea as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've with my side job, I've seen that as well, where because of everything going on, things that are monetary have taken a significant drop temporarily while stuff gets sorted out. So it probably definitely played an impact on it. But luckily, like you mentioned, EG, the CEO of My Will Studios, said that the project itself is not dead. It's just them working with Japanime is gone, unfortunately. But he is going to be relaunching the Kickstarter, I think, later this month, in May, I think is what he said. And he's going to take in all people's thoughts and comments from the past Kickstarter and apply it to the new ones. And he said, it sounded like he was alluding to he'll lower the goal as well. Don't quote me on that. That's just what I gathered from his Facebook post. And maybe do something with rewards and different things like that, and they'll come back with it. So we'll definitely keep you guys up to date on that because the game is for sure coming out in some fashion. It's just the Kickstarter will help it tremendously. So I'm still super excited about the game. I'm just really bummed out that we got to wait longer for it because I've been looking forward to this since like, what was it, November or something like that, since we got our, maybe earlier than that, since we got our first looks. It was earlier than that because that's around when Worlds was. So it's just taking so long, but I'm still excited for it. So we'll definitely keep you guys up to date and with some cool stuff that might be coming out for it. That we'll be helping with as well, so I'm excited for it, but just bummed it's taking longer.
Yeah, the sleeves they introduced right near the end were really cool looking. I remember looking forward to grabbing a pair or two of certain ones they had.
I was gonna buy like one of each.
But
they were cool.
So what else we got?
Also, if you guys missed it, well, not missed it, but we've been doing a game, Spellweaver, which is a digital game both on your phone and on the computer. It's been around for a while, but we recently discovered it, and we did a sort of intro video to it, and then we came out with the first gameplay video. If you missed that, go check it out. It was a lot of fun. We'll be coming out with more gameplay and different videos like that coming up here. And I thought it was super fun. I got contacted by some of the pros of it, and did a podcast with them over on their YouTube channel. I shared it on our Facebook page if you guys want to check it out. Or you can go to spellweaverdb.com, and there's a YouTube link for their YouTube channel, and you can check it out there. But it was a really fun discussion. If you guys are unfamiliar with Spellweaver, it's the reason they wanted me on there is because I'm not pro or really familiar with the game, so I was there to sort of reel them in or ask questions that new players might have. So it's a good discussion to listen to because you get that end of it, but you also get an idea of like what the pro scene kind of is like and how to get yourself into it as far as tournaments. Some really good information there. And afterwards, they helped me build a pro version of the deck I've been using, so I'm excited to play against Oscar with that eventually.
I had no idea a win con was to gain enough life that it's just you win.
Yeah.
That was
I
crazy.
forgot about that.
The game's ended on us. I was like, what? It's over? He's like, what? How did I lose, mate? It says right there, when you hit 40 life, you just win the game.
Yeah, you just win. I was like, oh my god.
That's actually really interesting because I don't think there's any other card game that like lets you win by gaining life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and I designed, like, I went to make a life gain deck with what little cards I had with life gain on them, just thinking it'd be fun to, because they had a bunch of cool gain life mechanics on them. There's a statue, it's a totem where, like, I think if you gain a certain amount of life, it turns into a creature itself and comes into the field and can gain life as well. So it's like all these cool things, but I don't know. I was really surprised that I was able to pull that win off on that one game.
that's funny.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he can gain life, whatever. I'll just... Cause, and the cool mechanic about it, the cool thing they do with life gain is if Oscar swings in with a 10 attack creature and I block it with a 1/1, he only gains 1 life because he only dealt 1 damage. Yeah. So that's a cool way, since they have that win con, there is ways to mitigate it. I just was unaware of this win con, so I was like, yeah, sweet on my face, I don't care, woo! But no, it's a lot of fun. It's super easy to access as well if you play Force of Will or Magic because it's very similar mechanics. Even has like a ruler type theme that you start the game with and all that. So definitely recommend checking out our videos on it, and then also going and checking out that podcast, and maybe we'll...
I would say check it out only because, like, you can, or I guess they don't have any friends. If you look at my Steam account, like, I think within the first week of, like, finding out what it was and actually trying it, I accumulate, like, 12 hours within it. So I actually end up having a lot of fun. And it has, like, missions that you can complete to either earn gold, special cards, or, like, a pack. And the missions, there's, like, 6 regions, I think there is, and so there's a mission for each region, and then they refresh every 8 hours. So if, like, you finished it one morning, you can come back later that evening and have a whole new batch of missions to complete for the day, which is really cool. So you can earn more stuff while playing the game. But I enjoy it. I enjoy the game. I look forward to playing more. Right now I'm in finals mode, so I haven't been playing much of that. And when I do play games, I play with you guys. It's like TFT or something like that, which I also enjoy. But yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of speaking of TFT, which is from Riot, they have the Legends of Runeterra card game, which is a digital card game, and that's something that I remember I was really hyped in the start of it, and then I played a little bit of it, and I really never touched it as much as I had wanted to play with it. But it's officially released, so it's officially out of beta. It's you can find it on your phone if you want to play with it. You may not, it depends on the phone you have, you may not enjoy it as much. I've seen some complaints where it's like, I lost some games just because I dragged the wrong card out and stuff like that. But it's officially released, and you can go start playing it. And a new set came out with a bunch of new champions and abilities and cool keywords.
They added like 11 new champions or something, and they added an entirely new faction, Bilgewater. So it's got like Fizz,
Gangplank,
Misfortune, Gangplank, and
Twisted
Nautilus.
Fate.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Twisted
Oh,
Fate.
Nautilus? That's awesome.
Twisted
Yeah.
Fate's there, yeah.
Nautilus looks really cool. So in the game, they have missions you can go do to familiarize yourself with the mechanics of it. And so I did the one with Nautilus on it, and he has a deep mechanic. It's actually really cool. It's like this. I don't know how well this works, but it's a mill deck on your own self. So you mill your cards, and the second you reach below 15 cards in your deck, all the cards deep mechanic on them activate. And some of them have various things where it's like, oh, well, when I'm in the field and deep, then I gain +3/+3. So it's like all these stuff start to buff. Or
it's
things,
actually really strong. I faced it a couple times. I thought it was quite strong. I mean, I'm sure like in pro play, it's not like, I don't know. It's probably better stuff. But,
right. I just enjoy that the I guess spectrum or whatever is like went from like narrow to being like, okay, here's a lot more you can do, and I look forward to more coming out. I like to run silly stuff a lot of times when I play card games. Like when I played Pokemon, I just played funny things I thought were hilarious sometimes. So I look forward to that. Like I want to really just check out the deep mechanic and
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more stuff that you can do in general. Like Gangplank can now like stack barrels, and for each barrel you have, it deals 1 extra damage. So like your 1-cost spell that deals 1 damage to their field, you know, you might have 3 or 4 barrels, so now you deal 4 damage to their 5 damage to their entire board. So yeah, it's just a lot more super interesting like mechanics that they've come out with.
Yeah.
Different champions that do different things.
It used to be like locked to a six character field, but now you can actually replace a character, and it just cuts them away and removes them. It's pretty cool. I'm enjoying it so far. I've actually been playing every day, and also because the first week they had daily login rewards, which I guess by the time you hear this, it's going to be too late because they'll be over. But on day 7 we get a bonus deck which has Ash in it. Which I've been working on
2 Ashes, right?
The Freljord region the entire time I've been playing it, and I'm at the last chest, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I was doing it so I can make an Ash deck, and now they're just going to give us one.
Do you have Ashes, Oscar?
I have 2, I think. I know you only need 3.
They might give you a free wild card. I don't know how.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to get a lot of the support within it. I think honestly, if I was to look at it, I probably own all the Freljord cards already, with the exception of like maybe 1 or 2, which are champions. But yeah.
Well, they also added more. So.
Well, yeah, outside of what they have added, from set 1, I think I own probably like 89 to 92% of the cards.
Yeah. The rewards are definitely not bad. And they've gotten even better since this set came out, I think. So like, there's a lot more ways like get champions and stuff, and get shards to craft your champions and stuff. Like I was able to make a deck that I kind of ended up like not being as fond of as I thought. So now I want to like make another one, but I don't have enough like stuff yet. But I'm sort of like building my way back up and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you know, the rewards seem pretty good so far. Yeah,
and there's a reward system based on the region, and you can select a region and you work a ladder, earning like free cards and shards and stuff like that. And they just kind of extended them a little bit longer with the new content that came out, so you can actually earn sleeve backs on like the newest ones, and some more cool stuff, pretty much.
Yeah, should definitely check it out if you're interested in
Colin was super quiet the whole time on that one.
It's because I was doing something that I knew my computer would be like, woo, here we go. One last thing before we go, I wanted to mention was, if you guys remember a while back, I did an interview thing for Ambo Tournament, which was a card game that I really enjoyed the art. If you guys remember, the art I used for the thumbnail looked like a purplish, like alien creature, like looking at the camera. Still, like some of my favorite art is super cool looking. But they finally launched their Kickstarter. Red Zone Rogue did a video on it. If you guys want to check it out, I'll probably do a video about it later this week as well. But definitely go check it out if you guys are interested. It's super cheap to back this. It's in US dollars to get a copy of the game. is about $31, which one copy of the game allows for people to play. Or if you get the for about $56, it looks like, you can get 2 copies of the game, which allows you to do a 2v2 mode as well, as a lot of flexibility with different game modes, and it's very unique in the gameplay as well. And there's some cool stuff comes with, like as far as tokens and different things like that.
Yeah, they had some stretch goals as well to like improve the card stock, and it's also improved the tokens.
Yeah.
It's
How far
also
back was it called?
Huh?
Oh, I see it.
It's also like if you take a look at it, it's what, $31 you said, and like if you're in the U.S., it shows the shipping, so $6 plus tax. You're probably gonna pay $40 to get the whole box. You can start playing the game.
Yeah, and there looks like there's no, as of right now at least, there's no like booster packs or anything. You just get the game, which is pretty awesome. So definitely, and it also has retailer stuff, I believe, on here as well. So if you're a retailer looking into that. But I definitely recommend checking into it, because I would really love for this to get funded. It's an all or nothing, so it's got 26 days to get everything, or else it's not funded. So definitely go check it out. It looks super cool, and it's super cheap just to back it real quick if you can. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that real quick.
Oh yeah, I'm actually trying to pull it up right now, but the internet's going slow on my phone for some reason. But you have it right. What's the Kickstarter at? Because that was within its last, I think, 48 hours last time I checked, and it might be over.
My dog's dying still. It doesn't show a percentage. Why is it not showing percentage? But it's at $3,200 out of the $17,000 goal. So it's a relatively small goal that they, I think it's just to fund that initial.
He didn't.
No, that's fine. Let him talk.
What?
Go ahead, keep going. Keep talking.
I don't want to keep going. I don't want to keep talking. Now I feel self-conscious. What happened?
Oscar was asking you what
the Gods of Egypt
Ankh
game was at.
Oh, the Ankh one?
Which $2.9 million with 22
Oh,
hours.
it's almost at 3?
It's almost at $3 million. It's been
really
crazy
buy that.
watching this grow, because like I've mentioned before, Colin showed it to me when he found it, and it was like $500,000. I was like, oh, that's cool. And so we backed it, and it's just I've been following it and watching like every stretch goal. Like, it's gotten so many stretch goals, it's insane. Like what it's unlocked.
And they finally added a new tier that's about double the price of the regular tier, and gosh, I don't know why my dog's dying today. And it comes with all the expansions, that are Kickstarter exclusive tokens, and a bunch of different stuff. That if you do the math, because you can add on those expansions and different things on the Kickstarter, you get like majority of it besides the 2 expansions and one other thing, and everything after that you're basically getting for free price wise. So that's probably why it suddenly jumped even closer to 3 million, because I told Oscar, if you look at the numbers, it looks like a bunch of people jumped from the regular pledge to the new pledge, which doubles our pledge amount instantly. So it's pretty funny. But
I mean, they have to send you like a box like that's just enormous.
Oh yeah,
like,
probably.
With all the like because I was kind of scrolling through all of the goals, and I started thinking, like, is this just all like for just like the $100? Like, they're like, how many like other tribes that like can you play? Because they were like 40 or 50 now, or something like
it's
that.
definitely like really hyped to see all the extra stuff that they're adding, but then you have to keep in mind that I'm sure that shipping cost is also going up in addition to that. So
it could be. It's going to be cool just to probably have this giant set of boxes that when you guys come over, it's just like, all right, you guys ready to just have a 6-hour event right now?
It's pretty
going
much
to be amazing.
The way I'm thinking about it is like it's going to be like a Warhammer, where it's all right. Let me get out my Warhammer chest and.
That's true. I'm gonna
Warhammer
have to
figurines
store
that I painted.
figures.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's gonna be so expensive to pay someone to paint all those. Oh my god.
Just paint them yourself. I will paint
what? No.
at least a couple of them.
No, because it'd be like, look at this one that I paid. This one paid. Then there's this one that's all splotchy, and it's like, ugh. It's like, that's the one I painted.
That's the best part though, because I can just play that army the entire time, and you can play.
I think
your, like, nice
it would
painted
add
army.
some character to it, like especially if we recorded a video of us playing the game, where it's like all these like randomly
Dude,
painted units.
you've
and
got like
different
they had like 40 tribes. Like give me a tribe.
You,
to paint.
you guys
I'll
have
give you
never
one tribe.
obviously zoomed in on my hand when I do anything, because this is going to be me. I'm going to be like, all right, let me paint with this tiny brush. Okay. And I got the eye. That's me when I do these tiny movements. If you look at my hand,
colors. Like, well, that's supposed to be a red shirt, but the whole thing's red now, so it's just the way
that's
it
gonna
is.
be it. I'm gonna start and I'm gonna streak and be like, all right, this is just a red figure now. All right.
I mean, we won't get this game for another year, pretty much, based on the timeline of by the time it's produced and shipped out. But
it's gonna be a Christmas surprise.
yeah, I think it's like a 10, 11 month turnaround. But I just want to point out, as the last thing, we'll wrap up on that and say thank you for listening. If you're still here, you want to go check out the Patreon podcast and haven't, head over there, patreon.com/TCG Scrubs. And don't forget to visit our links down in the description below. And we'll see you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.